G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Warstone Commander Shepard, and welcome to the map Preparation for Hokkaido, which is the newly won Guadalcanal. Today I'm flying the Spitfire Mk 5C against the Americans. So today what is happening is the British are on one side versus the Americans on the other. And I thought this would be a perfect tester, because I am flying out with an aircraft which has 4 20mm cannons and 120 rounds per cannon. And I'm flying out today because about a week ago I was on Discord and I got pissed off. A certain YouTuber has decided to make a comment to say that 50 cals are the best thing in the world and 20 mils are useless and they shouldn't be in War Thunder, basically. So basically this is what he said. I'm not going to put in everything, I'm just going to put the main bits. It has the worst range, the worst accuracy, the worst ballistics, and the worst firing rate. And he also goes on to says that 6 or 8 50 cals had much higher odds of getting multiple strikes than a single or a pair of 20mm cannons. Plus the 50 cal can shoot longer and more bursts due to vastly superior ammo count. Now the ammo count's not wrong, as I just said. The Spitfires, most of them get around about 120 mils. The lower tier Spitfires get a little bit less than that. So the Spitfire Mk, he gets 60 rounds per cannon, and you have to use that very consecutively. He also goes on to say that 50 cals is the superior overall armament against fighters. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. How very insulting. He also says that there is no such thing as exploding 20mm shells, as if they're like little bombs. He says they didn't have much explosive, they had unsophisticated fuses, and the biggest point of all, they're less likely to hit anything in the first place, and the 50 cal would do a better job than that. The one problem he's failed to mention completely from the start is that 50 cals actually have no explosive in them. They're armored piercing, yes, but they have no explosive round in them. So basically during World War II, you had the Brits on one side, the Germans, and this is going back to 1940, 1941, and the RAF has just had the Battle of Britain, and the RAF pilots are lobbying to have cannons on their aircraft, because during the Battle of Britain, British fighter pilots found it incredibly difficult to bring down German aircraft, because most British aircraft back then, the Hurricane, the Spitfires, the earlier ones, all had 303 machine guns, which is a rifle caliber which will put very, very small holes in an aircraft and won't do much damage. And the problem was, the German Luftwaffe by this time has already installed cannons in their aircraft, especially their fighters, particularly in the Bf-109, and the RAF can't match it. They won the Battle of Britain because of many odds, but the one thing that they lacked in their fighter department was cannons, especially 20mm Hispano cannons. So Fighter Command finally realized that they're going to have to put in cannons, and they do so with the first aircraft that they do within the Spitfire lineup anyway, is the Spitfire Mk 2B. Now the Spitfire Mk 2B has 2 of these, one in each wing with 60 rounds, as I've already said. And it is an immediate success. There is a lot more better averages of kill ratios with the 20mm compared to the 303s. So it gets standardized throughout the whole of Fighter
Command. And I showed my friend this and he got very pissed off and he got really
very annoyed, because this guy also says plus 50 cals are the best thing in the world. Just deal with it. Overall armament against fighters, just deal with it. And that because the Americans, until actually, not even until they were still running around in some cases with 50 cals in some of the fighters up until the 1960s. The one thing that didn't have back then was explosive 50 caliber rounds. So what the Americans used to operate during World War II was API, armor-piercing incendiary, and APT, armor-piercing tracers. The only problem was it put large holes in aircraft. The only problem was if it hit certain parts of certain aircraft, it wouldn't do anything. So there were some cases in the Bf-109 and several other aircraft when they got attacked by the Americans and nothing happened. They had a round go through the canopy from one side and go straight out the other side without doing any damage to anything. A 20mm, once it comes into contact with metal or glass of the aircraft or anything, it will send off a charge round, which will explode within the cockpit. It will either injure or kill the pilot or damage the instruments. So, what's he saying about no explosive filler is a little strange. Now currently at the moment, I'm at 6,000 meters. The P-47 is bugging out, one of them, and two others, which is another one is the P-38, and another P-47 are attacking a friend over towards my way. So, I got to realize very quickly, I'm better off helping the guy down below than the guys on the other side of the island, because they're now basically just mopping up what's left of the enemy at low level. Make sure there's no one above or below which I can't see. And I commence the dive, roll onto my back and go into the dive. Now, I've already prioritized which one will go first. It'll be whatever one is at the rear, because I want to target the most rearest one before I actually hit any of the other one. So, I pull out of the dive very quickly just to lose some speed, and then I will recommence the dive again. I've assessed the situation again just to make sure there's no other fighters, which I haven't seen, come out. And I recommence the dive, and I see the P-38, I see the P-47. The P-38 continues climb. The P-47 is going back to re-engage a friendly Spitfire. So I go for the P-38. He starts turning left, and this is where I start the show. Bad aiming on my behalf. I haven't used this aircraft in about a month or two. So I go into a left high turn. Only a few hits on the P-38. See the P-47, he's done a high turn, turning left, so I turn right to do a head-on with him. Not recommended, but I decide to because I've got to try and save him and keep him off. I get a few hits on him, and he gets a few hits on me. P-38 goes straight up, which has sealed his death warrant. He won't recover that. That is the first kill. Now, see the P-47, he's going to want vengeance for his dead comrade, and I just start doing some rolls and loops with the rudder. I almost black out, so I just stop doing that. So I start proceeding the rolling again. He gets a few hits to me, so I decide to go down for the deck. He pulls up, I pull up to the right. And I see he's pulling out to the left, so I roll on my back to the left, fire a few rounds at him, get a hit, he rolls onto his back, and heads down, and there's the second kill. Now my next concern is, does my friendly teammate either have enough fuel or is he too battle damaged to get back to base? Even though base isn't too far, I am concerned that the battle damage he might have taken has taken a toll on his aircraft. So I decide anyway that I should head back as well, and I do a quick check, there's only one left. So, and I know he's a P-47. So I decide to head back, so I rearm, repair, because I'm starting out of ammunition, and I'd rather go into an engagement with a healthy aircraft than a damaged aircraft. And I decide, if need be, he can always land and I can always keep up if need be and do the fighting while he's down on the ground. But I decide anyway, it's just better off landing and getting everything repaired, and I will now speed it up for you guys to the takeoff. Yeah. Now, my friendly teammate has repaired quicker than me. He's already up, and already I see P-47. When I had landed and almost been through my repair, the AA field AA guns had gone off, which meant that the P-47 had gone to the most closest base to him, which I didn't think he would do, and he's already climbed, gotten the altitude over us, and we barely have enough height over him. So I say to my friend, I'll bait him while you go gain some height over the airfield, which will probably be better, because he is already started to head back. So I just wanted to let him know I was going to bait for him, so he needed to be ready when the P-47 comes down. Now I look up again, the P-47's already coming back down. So what I do is I go into the left climb, but the problem is I make a deadly mistake. I roll onto my back and I forget where he is. He starts to hit me and pound. I've got enough damage to the aircraft and I can't keep going in this combat, so I have to immediately return back to base. Now at the moment I'm actually quite fine. I don't need to actually do much. My friendly teammate is starting to engage the P-47, and I've got also field AA firing in case if my friendly Spitfire cannot prevent it from coming down. So I'm actually quite safe at the moment. My next concern is the landing. I turn off the engine to save what power I have left because I have no oil and no water, and I thought, I probably should turn it off in case if I have to abort the landing, power it up again and go back around for the landing. Now I reckon I'm coming in a little bit too quick, but I really want to get this plane down. So I start to fire a few rounds, put on the brakes, and I flip it over. The notorious thing about the Spitfires was if you tap the brakes too hard, the Spitfire will roll over. My mistake, it won't happen again. I've learnt my lesson and it won't happen again. Now I've got about a 30 to 20 second rearm and repair, and my next concern is, will the P-47 and the Spitfire keep going, or what will happen? Will the Spitfire run out of ammunition or get enough rounds in the P-47, or vice versa? So I have to sit and wait for the repair, and things are starting to change now. I pick up again and started to notice that the P-47 is starting to lack enough speed to engage my friendly teammate. So I take off and will proceed low over the ground instead of going for altitude, thinking that I might be needed just in case. Now a quick recap of what's happened during this match. I've climbed and I've already gotten 2 kills with the 20 mils, and in a baiting act with this P-47 I have copped a numerous amount of rounds. Now he was probably using either API or something along those lines. He might have been using default belt, but if they had been 20 millimeters, I wouldn't be flying right now. I would be back in the hangar trying to work out what I did wrong. But he was using 50 caliber machine guns. He's not going to kill me that easily. He's got to rip a wing off or blow the engine, which is a little bit hard to do. But it didn't happen. He kept hitting the main airframe and the wings, but he didn't hit one consecutive wing or enough of the consecutive airframe to actually send me crashing into the ground. Now I'm proceeding low over the water, and Spitfire teammate has engaged him and he's starting going into a left turn up high, and the P-47 starts to follow him. So my next concern is, will the P-47 get him? So currently at the moment I'm running on WEP, and I noticed that he's starting to go back down. I don't know if he lost all his power or not, or he was just trying to keep low over the water. Fire a few rounds at him, get a hit, and fire another few rounds, and I get a pilot snipe. And that's the third kill for this game, and the last. Now, I reckon this was a pretty good game. Not all games turn out like this, but it was just to show that 20 mils can actually do a lot more than what this guy has said. And I would take 20 mils any day. I am researching the American tree. I know 50 cal is really good, especially if you aim for like one wing or you hit the fuel tank with API, but I still prefer 20 mils over the 50 cals. And that is the end of the game. And let's have a look at the scoreboard.
First on my team with 3 kills and with 3,319 RP researching Tempest Mark 5 and 44,460 silver lions. Now, just to recap, 50 cals against 20 mils. If you ask me, I would take 20 mils any day. Even though I am researching the American tech tree, as I said, I would just prefer 20 mils any day. It doesn't matter, you couldn't change it, I just prefer that.
Ladies and gents, thank you for watching. Like if you want to, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you in the skies.